New Year. The tweet said, hashtag Times Square tradition rings in hashtag New Year by dropping the big ball. If ever needed, we are hashtag ready to drop something much, much bigger. The video showed a B-2 bomber dropping bombs followed by explosions on the ground. One Twitter user using the handle at Mary F. Short wrote, why is U.S. Strategic Command joking about nuclear war? Hashtag shameful. Later on Monday, the message was deleted from the U.S. Strategic Command's Twitter feed. A new message said, our previous New Year's Eve tweet was in poor taste and does not reflect our values. We apologize. We are dedicated to the security of America and allies. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The victims of a devastating tornado expressed gratitude that The Onion's three-part series on the disaster was reported with fairness, accuracy, and an unusual degree of sensitivity. Survivors said they were at least thankful for one thing, that The Onion put much more care and insight into their reporting of the tragedy than any competing newspaper, by far. In economic news, a Pulitzer Prize would very much help certain newspapers increase their circulation, resulting in greater ad sales and more revenue to pay their tireless, hardworking reporters, all of whom have families at home to care for. In other headlines, a group known as Americans for Fairness in Awarding Journalism Prizes is asking all Americans to help The Onion receive a Pulitzer Prize. An anonymous man says he will murder 50 innocent people if The Onion is not awarded a Pulitzer. And look at it, it's beautiful. Look, just give us a Pulitzer already, okay? This is humiliating. For more prize-worthy stories and videos, go to theonion.com/review.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Computers are online. I'm gonna start loading software.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom.
Broadcasting live from Vertcoin Studios on LRN FM.
You're listening to Will.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say.
And Aria.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Stay tuned for political talk and everything crypto. That's right.
Broadcasting internationally on our BitPlus network satellite.
This is
The Call to Freedom.
All right, let's boot it up.
That's right. Welcome to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from the Horizon.global studio here in actually beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It normally isn't. We just kind of say that to be saying it, but today's actually a pretty beautiful day.
Well, kind of, I guess.
I'm joined in the studio, of course, by Michael Hampton, a co-host on Free Talk Live.
That's me.
Yep. Was on with us last night for Free Talk Live. It was awesome. It was like a 3-hour conversation about butt sex.
We talked about a few other things. I talked about a few other things, I think, but Yeah, I think that was most of it.
It was a fun show. Will is not with us today. However, we do have a very special episode planned because we're going to be doing a lot of ranting here today. We had Tiffany lined up to be on the show, and I'm not going to use her last name out of respect, and she's apparently in a pretty litigious mood anyway.
Oh, screw her.
Yeah, I know. But she has backed out, and the reason that she has backed out is because she needs to retain an attorney before she goes on any public record. She'll let me know as soon as she hires one. To which I, of course, replied, we're only wanting to cover this while it's still fresh. I mean, there's nothing an attorney can do anyway. No permission is needed to video someone in a public place.
Yeah. So she's actually thinking about suing the person who took the video?
Yes, and the publications that featured it as a story. She's
Okay,
totally she's totally
that's
detached from
utterly
reality,
ridiculous.
right? Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. But it gets so much worse than that. Like there are people who are detached from reality. And then there are people who have absolutely no relationship whatsoever with reality, and she's one of the latter. Now, none of this is stopping her from attempting, along with her friends, to appear on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
So she's still on for Ellen.
No, that's not going to happen.
If Ellen, well, which she's not, but
yeah, but she's still trying as of today. Was still trying to reach out to Ellen to be on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Oh, so she'll go on Ellen without a lawyer, but us? No.
Right. Well, she's got this idea in her head that she's famous now, and she intends clearly.
No, the word
milk
is infamous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She wants to milk that for all it's worth. So she sees us with our audience of whatever, 10,000, whatever it is, and she's like, but Ellen reaches millions. So I'm going to go for that. And I can tell you right now what the ultimate result of this is going to be. You're going to get no publicity at all because nobody cares. And because you were in the wrong.
Yeah, you were in the wrong. And the only publicity you're going to get is the people that are still laughing at you on Facebook.
Oh, absolutely. To give you an example, they're tagging Ellen. They're posting to Ellen DeGeneres' page on Facebook, which is not going to reach Ellen anyway, but such as, hi, Ellen, my name is Coral, and I am hoping maybe you can help. Tiffany and I, and so many women in our community, are being targeted and hated and killed and harmed. Tiffany was recently the victim of a senseless verbal taunting, and I am hoping you could look at her video and maybe help us stand up for ourselves publicly. I know it's a long shot. I know you're busy. I know you owe me nothing. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really get more interesting than that.
Okay, I looked at your video, and I'm going to give you some help right now. Go get an anger management class.
Exactly. The entire debacle started because this is how she describes it, right? So after being served several times in a row by the POS at GameStop, who I corrected, but it didn't matter, then by a woman shopping at GameStop who heard me quite loudly correct the employee 4 times, I'm left wondering why I'm still doing this. People do not respect my pronouns, misgender me for the sake of a laugh from coworkers and customers alike, and are downright cruel to me. So why am I trying to be something that so many folks seem to think I'm not? After this young man clearly misgendered me for the sake of a laugh 5 times, but we're up to 5 now.
What is this for the sake of a laugh thing?
I don't know.
What is she on?
She's on social justice is what she's on. The 5th time I corrected him, I politely told him I would take him outside and give him something to call me sir about.
Oh, there was nothing polite about her.
To which a customer decided to step in because of my created use of the F word in front of her son. She clearly heard me correct the employee, yet chose to call me sir. So when I told her where she could take the commentary, she called the cops. Cops don't like trans women, so I left. Now I'm left questioning my validity, like I'm only recognized and seen as a man by everyone. So why should I even continue transitioning? I mean, it's pretty clear that I'm a woman to my family and loved ones, or is it? I have noticed that while all my brothers and sisters support my decision, they become scarce since I've told them of said transition. Not all of y'all, but there's more than not, which is cool. I'm a big girl. I don't need my hand held. Just the fact that y'all acknowledge my existence is more than enough for me. But I can't help but think I've become a hindrance or a chore or an annoyance. Like, it's really hard to deal with me and my mood swings, my depression, and my almost multiple personality disorder, so everyone steers clear of me. What is almost personality disorder?
Well, it's almost no, it's not called almost. It's called borderline personality disorder.
True. I mean, yeah, and that's how somebody would diagnose it if she had actually been diagnosed. But of course, she was not. She just wants to say she's borderline multiple personality disorder. She sounds like she's
just looking for attention, and any attention is fine, bad or otherwise.
That's exactly it. I'm in a really bad place right now, and going ghost seems more and more like the best option. Oh, it's too late for that, honey. I'm tired of bringing people down. I'm tired of being a hindrance. I'm tired of my family and loved ones feeling like they have to walk on eggshells around me. I hope it gets better with time, because at this point, it's only getting worse. That was the initial post I was tagged in before I knew anything about the video.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what were your first thoughts of this, having not seen the video?
My first thought was, look, I can't imagine why you're giving this person this level of power over you. This is a stranger. They can't make you feel anything. They can't make you angry. You know, emotions are 100% internal things. How we react to things says more about us than it does what we're reacting to. And you're letting this stranger, this total stranger, not only define you clearly, but to make you feel invalid as a person, as a trans person, whatever. That to me is lunacy. To give someone that level of power over you, whether you know them or not, it's strange, it's stupid, and it's reckless, because you run into people like this who are not going to validate her. So why give them that power in the first place? You either validate yourself or you put it into the hands of everyone else and live with the results.
Some people aren't capable of validating themselves.
No, and I think that's what we should be teaching people now. We talked about this before on the show with this whole gender affirmation therapy that we have going on now, which is basically just a therapist sitting you down and saying, oh, yes, you're a woman. You're totally a woman. And I don't agree with that. At what point did we as a society decide that, you know, it was good to be validated by other people and that it was bad to not care what other people think? I don't know when it started, but it has not been good. And it's cultivated this mentality that if a trans person is not validated by their preferred pronouns by random strangers, then it's the end of the world. Well, we'll be back on the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, so don't go anywhere.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's Agrist.
your digital assets and ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.fm पे.
That's right. Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the Horizon.global studio here in Keene, New Hampshire. We're having a bit of discussion about some lunacy that's been going all over the internet. Although it's worth noting, it is not going all over to the extent that she thinks it is. And we're going to get right back into that because there's so much fodder here for ranting and for legitimate discussion. But here we have her yesterday saying this right here over the deaths of 2 trans women in Chicago who were shot and killed. And that sucks. But it's Chicago. People get murdered in Chicago all the time, whether they're trans or not.
That's what Chicago is known for.
Yeah, it's the murder capital of the world.
It's where you go if you want to get killed.
But she says, this right here is the reason I raise my voice against transphobia. This is the reason I will continue to raise my voice. While you may think it's just a joke, or stop being so sensitive, or you'll always be a man to me, or any other garbage tactic to excuse your transphobia, it's literally life and death for us. Think about that the next time you make a trans person the target of hate speech and cyberbullying. I'm strong enough emotionally to handle the tens of millions of people around the world who have shared that video to perpetuate hate. Bitch, you haven't reached a million views. You're nowhere near 10 million.
And it's not even about perpetuating hate. The only person who's perpetuating any hate here is her.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because she's the only one doing any hating.
Yeah, and as Will read yesterday, she's got this whole, screw the white, cis, hetero, white male patriarchy thing going on, and that's hate. She goes on earlier on December the 29th to say, so now I'm being attacked by members of my own community, trying to dictate my level of transness. I did what I felt was necessary. It's bad enough I'm being hated by half the world, but now my own brothers and sisters are gatekeeping me. One woman even said that being trans might not be for me, like it's a choice. A trans woman said this. I think she's probably referring to me, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe, possibly.
But this only serves as fuel for the fire. I'm about to burn the system down. Either you ride with me or you don't, but keep your comments to yourself unless they're positive and supportive. Or you can just join the folks that hate me. Well, don't worry about that. I have joined the folks who hate you.
Oh, I don't hate her. I just feel
either.
sorry for her. She's got issues that go way beyond being trans.
Oh, absolutely. I don't like how she views herself as evidently a sort of Rosa Parks out there fighting for liberty by harassing random employees and damaging random property. None of that is going to help transsexualism at all.
That doesn't help anything.
No, it doesn't. And I tried to explain this to her after she pulled her whole, well, I'm not coming on the show because I'm looking for an attorney, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, but you'll go on Ellen.
Oh, naturally, yeah. It's going to take me a second to find it, apparently.
You go right ahead.
But yeah, well, she's willing to go on Ellen, presumably, but I mean, she's never going to. But I said, my unsolicited advice as a public figure and trans person is to let this go. A tirade at the store did nothing to ease and only exacerbated the view that trans people are overly sensitive and prone to overreactions. Seeking an attorney over this will further reinforce that and will generate nothing but bad publicity for you and all other trans people. At the end of the day, one must be an ambassador for love and goodwill first, an ambassador for social causes second, as love and goodwill, properly nourished and cultivated, engender social tolerance and acceptance. I'll
buy that.
I believe I've been blocked.
Well, she's not about love and acceptance and any of that. You know, I spent years working in customer service, and when I saw that video, the first thing I thought is this is just one of an endless stream of bad customers. Yeah. It had nothing to do with her being trans. It was just her being a.
Yeah, agreed. But that's not how most people are going to see it. And that's she wants to be a champion for trans rights and all that. Hey, I don't really applaud you because I think you should be a champion for individual rights. But even that part aside, okay, let's go with it. You want to be a champion for trans rights, go for it. But you have to be a good champion of trans people rights. You have, if you're going to be an ambassador for something, you have to always be on your best behavior. You can't be out there having rants at GameStop employees. You have to be bigger than that. You have to be better than that. And if you cannot force yourself to be better than that, to be better than the people who hate you, then you've already failed as an ambassador. Like, what would I have accomplished if I went on Chris Cantwell's show and just called him a hate-filled, transphobic racist and stormed out? Nothing.
Probably nothing.
But because I sat there and calmly had a discussion with him, we have people who now listen to our show and who now listen to Free Talk Live who were hardcore alt-right.
Formerly alt-right.
Yeah. And I don't care what you say, that's a positive impact.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm the problem. Maybe you're the problem. I don't really care who the problem is. Well, actually, I kind of do, because you're out there undermining anything that people like me do to actually assist in how people view trans people.
Whatever the problem is, what I saw in that video is not the solution.
No, absolutely
not. That is not how you win friends and influence people.
No, it isn't. And you don't win people by milking it for all of its worth. You're getting death threats on the internet. Welcome to the internet.
Yeah, come on. I was getting death threats on the internet back in the 90s when nobody had the internet.
Yeah. So that's the internet. You have videos of you on YouTube now. You're getting death threats. This is not a surprise. It's been a while since I got a death threat. I primarily got them over atheism back when I was a militant atheist and just ranting about it constantly. But it was stuff that I was doing that was causing those death threats to come about. It was the fact that I was going out and intentionally antagonizing religious people. Since I've stopped doing that, no death threats.
No death threats, and I bet you get a lot farther when you discuss issues with people too.
You do. It's generally a much more successful tactic, it would seem. But of course, and we know this because we have so much evidence of people of black men meeting with KKK members and just becoming friends with them, and the ultimate result of that is to undo their racist programming. If you want
hang up their sheet and get rid of it. Yeah.
If you want to reach people, you have to reach them on a human emotional level. You can't yell and scream at them. Who are you trying to reach when you do things like that? Because you're either engaging in a circle jerk or you're pushing people away.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
The new Netflix Gas lets users instantly inhale multiple seasons of TV shows. An area man is worried the nation's healthcare debate might be getting political, and a bullied 8th grader incorrectly thought classmates would leave him alone during a field trip to the 9/11 memorial. Don't mistake my kind, gentle tone for one of love or support. This is The Onion Week in Review. According to a report released this Tuesday, no one, absolutely no one, will ever stack up to your 8th grade boyfriend, Brian Bowden, who you dated for 6 weeks in middle school. A 43-page study from Stanford University confirmed that no other guy in your life will ever be as kind or caring as the 13-year-old who held your hand during the scary parts of Jurassic Park, who had that really cool chain wallet, and who bought you 2 pink carnations on Valentine's Day. The report added that while your current boyfriend does have a lot going for him, he will certainly never cut class with you to listen to the dead Kennedy's Frankenchrist on a Sony Discman. Brian used to do that with you. He used to do it all the time.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting as always from the Horizon.global studio here in Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been having a discussion about sensitivity and how to properly reach people, because I think that's one of the... I don't understand what she could have been trying to accomplish when she lashed out at the GameStop employee.
She wasn't trying to accomplish, she wasn't thinking, she was just reacting. It was just...
It was like a child throwing a tantrum. Really. Exactly.
There was no thought behind it. There was no premeditated. It was just a unfiltered reaction.
And it was. I would love to be able to crawl inside of her head to understand what about this encounter made her so angry.
I don't know.
Because
I really don't know.
Really, if being called sir 4 times or 5 times, which the jury is out about whether or not that even happened. If it upsets you that much, I can only imagine the kinds of nervous breakdowns she must be having now that genuine insults are being thrown her way from people who are trying to offend her. And to me, there's only one proper response to that. I don't really care what you call me. Like the dude who asked who I was, and somebody responded that there's no way that's a she. I was like, well, I prefer she, but you do you.
Yeah,
that's it. End of story.
Whatever.
Because these people are always going to be out there, and I mean that's what it means to be pushing against the social grain. It means you're going to stand out. You're going to be different. You're going to be targeted. So either you do this in silence, which is what I would recommend for overly sensitive people, and you let people like me and all of the other trans people who just genuinely don't care what other people think and who are willing to take that hate because I enjoy it. I love it. It's why I do what I do. Please come hate me.
Yeah, Honey Badger don't care.
No, that tells me I'm being successful. So the more, but you know, not necessarily, to be clear, because people hate her right now, and it's not because she's successful. A lot of people hate her because she's simply a bad ambassador for trans people. And that's why these other trans people are coming out and telling you, hey, it's not that you're not trans enough. The problem is that you are trans and you're a total bitch. And this makes all of us, and you know, because there is this stereotype of trans people just being overly sensitive to gender pronouns. The whole, did you just misgender me thing, that originates with trans people.
I've heard that.
And she's doing that with sincerity.
I've never heard anyone quite this sensitive about it, though.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I mean, usually trans people, despite the reputation, are generally adults about the entire thing, you know, like a human being should be. Either you correct the person, which I would like to point out again, that I have never in my life asked somebody to call me she or her. They either do or they don't. And it has nothing to do with me whether they do or don't. And I'm not going to let it impact me. But I've never corrected anyone as somebody on the phone, because I answer phones quite a lot at work, and I do have a pretty masculine voice, so I'm constantly called sir.
Hey, sometimes I'm called ma'am on the phone, so, you know, sometimes I'm called ma'am if someone looks at me from the wrong angle, you know?
I mean, correcting people, sure, if that's your thing, go ahead and correct people. I don't think you probably should, but hey, that's a lot better than flipping out. And if they do it multiple times, then it's probably going to be intentional, which means you're wasting your time by trying to reach them through that mechanism in the first place, and you need to try a different tactic.
Yeah, you know, my favorite way to approach that is to just not say, just totally not ignore it at all, and within a minute or so, they'll figure it out, and their face will turn white. And
That's funny. I like to think that, as human beings, we have this capability of tempering our emotions. And yes, we do have visceral emotional reactions, primal emotional reactions to things that we can't necessarily control. But you can control your actions that result from those emotions. And you can actively work to get those emotions under control. What she needs isn't simply anger management. It's an entire emotion tempering lesson. And we don't offer that in our public schools. And most families, most parents don't ever mention it to their children. It's how you end up with 13-year-old kids who kill themselves because their girlfriend broke up with them, because they're experiencing these wild emotions and they have no idea how to process them in a healthy way.
Well, public schools don't teach that sort of thing.
No, and they have no idea how to take control of them and to control their emotions rather than let their emotions control them. And it leads to all sorts of problems. And then you have an entire generation of people whose parents simply gave us the candy when we were screaming and throwing a fit in the aisle because it was the only way to shut us up. Rather than saying, no, you're not getting this candy. They just gave it to us.
Right.
Well, now they're adults and they're at GameStop and they're screaming and pitching a fit because they didn't get the candy they wanted. And they think, because it worked when they were kids, that this is going to get them the result that they want now. But you are no longer a child. And we are not your parents. We're not going to baby you. We're not going to mollycoddle you. We're not going to appease your delicate sensibilities. We're going to request that you grow up and act like an adult.
Yes, please kindly grow the F up.
It would be nice, because a trans person who just goes about their life and gets misgendered and continues to go about their life is not going to end up viral on YouTube. No one's going to watch that because it's uninteresting. But when you flip out like this, I think I think she actually said this on one of her other posts, which is that, closed mouths don't get fed and squeaky wheels are the ones who gets the grease and all of that. Sure. But not all publicity is good publicity, especially when you're fighting for a social cause.
Yeah, it's like the kids that just want any sort of attention, whether it's good or bad, they just crave the attention. And I forget what the exact psychological term was for the issue that I'm describing here.
I know what you're referring to, but I can't think of it either.
But that's really what this all reminds me of, and it really has nothing to do with being trans. She could have been cis, because I've seen that before. This sort of outburst.
Yeah.
Just somebody gets told they can't have a refund because their receipt is too old. They outburst like that,
Yeah, true. And I watched a video just a few days ago of some vapor shop employee flipping out in exactly the same way as this transgender.
I heard about this video, but I haven't seen it yet.
Because a dude was wearing a Make America Again Great hat, whatever it is.
I should go get my red hat.
And the employee just totally flipped out. Yeah. I mean, yelling and screaming incoherently, just making loud, high-pitched whines. An adult, a grown man in this store, just totally losing control over the hat someone else was wearing. So it's certainly not limited.
The employee lost it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the employee. And there's this black dude who's just standing there while this guy in the MAGA hat is getting accused of being a racist. And, of course, there's really no way you can refute it when somebody accuses you of being racist. You just go, I'm not a racist, and hopefully carry on with your life. But you can't prove that you're not racist. And I think that's what a lot of these anti-Trump people rely on. But it was a total freak out. It made the trans chick at GameStop look quaint and well controlled. That's how severe it was.
That sounds pretty bad. I'm going to have to dig up this video and watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. And again, it had nothing to do with transsexualism or transgenderism. It was just some person totally unable to accept the reality that people disagree with them and hoping that they could use some mechanism to force that other person to either get down or lay down. Well, we'll be back on the Call to Freedom with more of this here on LRN.FM, so don't go anywhere.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting from the Horizon.Global studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And on the subject of Horizon, we actually had a really interesting conversation last night on Free Talk Live and on Free Talk Live, I believe, about the privatization of one's data and how it's generally used on the internet. And I wanted to mention then that part of the purpose behind Horizon is allowing people to take control and monetize their own data. So go check them out. Again, that's horizon.global. They have a lot of really cool things going on. And I think it's a really solid cryptocurrency. And it also uses, I think it's zero knowledge proofs and things like that. So it's supposed to be more secure, certainly, than,
more
Bitcoin.
privacy oriented.
Yeah, which is always a good thing. Always something we encourage here on the Call to Freedom and on the Liberty Radio Network in general. So back to what we've been discussing. There's really not a lot more I think that we can drag out of this, except that the memes that are being thrown at me are absolutely amazing. Keep them coming.
Completely on point.
Some of them have been just absolutely hilarious, like Aquamam.
Aquamam, yep.
And it's got this chick just standing there, in the new Aquaman pose, I suppose, from the movie poster, which is something I haven't seen yet. I did see previews for it during the Crimes of Grindelwald when I saw that, and I was pretty impressed that they managed to take Aquaman and turn it into a movie that looked pretty interesting with a super hot redheaded chick in it. I don't know who she is, but she's pretty hot.
Yeah, well, anyone who's redheaded chick is fine with me.
Yeah. And so we've been discussing, of course, this trans chick who flipped out at the GameStop employee, and we moved on to the guy in the, and I see Michael Wink got his red hat.
My red hat.
We moved on to the VaporStop employee who totally lost his mind at a customer who was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And we can't play that video on the air either because there is profanity in it, quite a lot of it. But you can't hear it because the employee is so caught up in their flip out, their emotions, that they're just primally screaming at this person, not even using words. They're just grunting and primally
just
screaming.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting to see an adult behaving that way. But it's by far not the most disgusting thing I've seen of adults. One picture I saw on Twitter was this girl who had taken a dump, and she took her feces and wrote F Trump on her bathroom counter with her
oh my.
Yeah. And not only did that, but posted it on Twitter for the entire world to see because she was proud of it.
Proud of it.
And I mean, that's what 2018 was that sort of childishness being put on exhibition by full adults, fully grown adults. Look, if you're playing with your feces, I don't think you have the clout to refer to yourself as an adult. But you should be an adult. And then you have this trans chick. Let's leave all of that in 2018. Can we do that? That's what I would like to see, is that as a people, we stop these freakouts and we start treating other people as people.
Human beings.
Yeah.
We're all human here. Male, female, non-binary, any one of the other 300 genders, it doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't. Not if you can see the person as an individual. But so many of them refuse to be individuals. They just embrace this sort of collectivist mentality, and they intentionally lump themselves into these groups because they want to feel more powerful that way.
No.
I think it was Nietzsche who said there's no one who is really more alone than the person who refuses to fall into, I don't remember how he put it. He put it much more eloquently than that because it was freaking Nietzsche.
Well, he was a famous philosopher, and we're just a couple of people with microphones.
I love Nietzsche, but he's super hard to understand, even at the best of times. I mean, so he wrote Thus Spake Zarathustra, which nobody understood.
I don't even...
So he wrote Beyond Good and Evil to explain it, and nobody understood it. So he wrote another book, the name of which I don't recall, to explain Beyond Good and Evil, because he was frustrated that even his intelligent friends were totally missing the points.
Now, you got to dumb this down for the normal people.
I don't understand half of what Nietzsche says. And it's not just because he makes these obscure references to other philosophers that I'm not going to comprehend because I'm not a philologist. I don't study philosophy and philosophers. I think that whole endeavor is probably pointless. I think the whole of philosophy is thinking your way through reality and the perception of I. I don't think that you can learn that from other people, not in any sort of genuine sense. You may hear it from other people, but I think the discovery of what is I is going to be far more important than the destination, I suppose.
I mean, learning what the perspectives are that you might possibly have is one thing, but at the end of the day, you have to do your own thinking about who you are, what your place in the world is, and what you're going to do with your life.
We do struggle for places in the world because we're so confused. And that's why the state and religion have historically been so successful, because they're like, okay, well, this is the world. Don't worry about any of this other stuff. We're going to define all of reality for you. This is what it is. This is what you're supposed to do.
This is your place.
Yeah.
You're a peasant. You farm the land, and you give 70% of it to this guy.
I think it was Timothy Leary who actually gave a pretty good speech about this, and I'll try to find it when we go out to the break. But it's messed up, and they're wrong. We're scared. We're terrified. I mean, we're little tiny amoebas who have gained self-awareness in a gigantic ocean beyond our understanding, and we're trying to make any sort of sense of it because suddenly we're aware that we exist, and that freaks us out. Quite understandably. A lot of people can't handle that sort of uncertainty, and that's where the religions of the world historically step in, and where the states of the world step in and say, we're going to give you law and order, don't worry, we're going to take this chaos and we're going to turn it into order.
Yeah, religion is good at telling you the meaning of life as they interpret it and giving you rules to live by, and the state is good at giving you rules to live by, and I'm not sure they really have the meaning of life thing sorted, but...
No, and I hope they don't. Well, I mean, in a sense, they kind of do, because their meaning, at least is implied, to be you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, you work a 9 to 5, you retire, you die.
Yep.
You get married and have some kids along the way. That seems to be more or less what the state pushes people toward.
Yeah, that sounds like today.
And I don't think any of that is necessarily conducive to a person's happiness any more than monogamy is. It's just something people accept.
If that's what you really want to do, then fine. But you really do have to pick your own direction in life.
You do.
But you do have to know what directions you could possibly go in, and that's where I think the state fails people.
Absolutely, definitely, because the state. I mean, by definition, it wants people to be easy to understand. It wants to aggregate us and filter us all into one of 3 or 4 very easily understood groups. And psychologists do the same thing. It's why going to a psychologist was a total waste of my time, because all they wanted to do was put me in one group or another through which they could, get their, this is the telescope, this is the microscope through which I view this class of person. This is the microscope through which I view this class of person. All they wanted me to do was, be one of those types of people.
Yeah, put yourself into one of these little boxes that may or may not exactly fit.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, in my experience, a lot of these trans people and these minority people, they actually thrive on that. They seek that out. They want that. And I suppose that's fine, but I'm not willing to give up my individuality in order to run with the pack, unless that pack is going to respect my individuality, such as me saying I'm an anarchist.
Right.
I'm not at any risk of losing any aspect of my identity for identifying as an anarchist.
No, I wouldn't think so.
No. But if I was to accept that LGBT community label, I would have to give up quite a lot. Namely, I would have to give up libertarianism, because that's what it ultimately comes down to. That's why I'm not an ally of these people. It's because I'm not a libertarian and they don't like that. I mean, I'm not a Democrat and they don't like that.
Right.
It's come to a point where it's not any of these groups like females or anything like that defines what community to which you belong. It's your political allegiance. And I think that's scary. I think it's deadly. And I think that is the problem, not being misgendered at GameStop. Well, stay tuned for the crypto news. We'll be back here in...
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio is great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from Eastern Massachusetts, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, January 1st, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.49 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,283 per ounce. Smart Cash is trading at 1.39 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,763. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. government's monthly report of civilian deaths in their operations in the war against the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria has been released over the weekend, and as usual includes but a tiny fraction of the deaths reported by monitors and other non-government organizations. The new report added 15 deaths to the overall toll, but 12 of those deaths were from a U.S. strike in Mosul in March of 2017. The strike in question was on a munitions factory, and the U.S. strike set off a secondary explosion that killed civilians. The other deaths spanned two other smaller incidents. Totally absent from the official report is any record of the deaths of scores of civilians in repeated U.S. airstrikes against three towns held by the Islamic State in eastern Syria near the Iraqi border. These strikes have been consistently reported over the past 2 months, but the U.S. has almost never acknowledged such strikes, let alone admitted to any of the large number of civilian deaths. This, of course, has been a recurring problem with the official reporting of civilian deaths, as the U.S. rarely admits to more than a tiny fraction of the overall deaths documented by groups like the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights or Air Wars. Even when the U.S. admits to an incident, they often underreport the death toll. UPI reports House Democrats plan to unveil a stopgap spending bill that would fund most of the government for the rest of the fiscal year, but would provide only a fraction of what President Donald Trump wants to pay for a border wall. The bill would fund 6 government departments currently furloughed since the shutdown went into effect on December 21st. Unnamed Democratic aides told the Washington Post the Department of Homeland Security, though, would receive its existing $1.3 billion for border security, short of the $5 billion Trump has requested. Among the shuttered departments to receive funding under the legislation are the Departments of Interior, Agriculture, Commerce, and Justice. Democratic aides told the New York Times and USA Today Democrats plan to vote on the bill when the new session of Congress opens on Thursday, the first day the party takes control of the lower chamber. The Democrats' proposed plan is similar to legislation passed by the Republican-controlled Senate earlier this year. Trump declined to sign the spending bill because it did not include the $5 billion he requested to partially fund a wall. Though the new Democratic-controlled House is expected to pass the planned legislation, it's unclear whether the Republican-controlled Senate has enough votes to send it to Trump's desk, and if it did, whether the president would even sign it. Reuters reports U.S. Strategic Command, which oversees the country's nuclear arsenal, apologized for a Twitter message saying it was ready if necessary to drop something much, much bigger than the New Year's Eve ball in New York, and showing a clip of an aircraft releasing bombs. Just an hour before the midnight descent of the illuminated ball in New York's Times Square, marking the arrival of the new year, the tweet said, hashtag Times Square tradition rings in hashtag New Year by dropping the big ball. If ever needed, we are hashtag ready to drop something much, much bigger. The video showed a B-2 bomber dropping bombs, followed by explosions on the ground. One Twitter user using the handle @MaryFShort wrote, "Why is U.S. Strategic Command joking about nuclear war? Hashtag shameful." Later on Monday, the message was deleted from the U.S. Strategic Command's Twitter feed. A new message said, "Our previous New Year's Eve tweet was in poor taste and does not reflect our values. We apologize. We are dedicated to the security of America and allies." This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
We turn to Washington, D.C., where America's roommates are holding a rally as part of their new One Vote Doesn't Matter political action campaign. The rally, which drew thousands of roommates, ranging from the guy who keeps all of his groceries in his room to the guy whose name the lease is under, is just a part of a surging grassroots movement to spread the message that one person's vote can't make a difference if you really, really think about it.
You know, this is like the most important election of our lifetime. We just want to get the word out that it's already been decided in some smoke-filled boardroom. You know, I pretty much minored in poli-sci, so I think I get this stuff.
Joining us now is Jason Copeland at a rally in the nation's capital. Jason, how would you describe the energy there?
Yeah, hi, Andrea. I'd say it's a definite chill vibe. I just saw the roommate whose only friend seems to be his younger brother and the guy who just has an air mattress in his room passing out flyers together. Now, the roommates do make some interesting points. The Electoral College it is weird.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live. It is now the Crypto Hour, brought to you by MotionProject.org. Again, that's MotionProject.org. Go check them out. They're essentially the Kickstarter of cryptocurrencies, allowing you to use your Motion coin to vote for projects that you think should be funded, or to fund them, to be more accurate. And it includes a number of checks and balances built into the system that are really awesome and that will hopefully prevent things like, Mighty Number 9 from happening again. Again, that's motionproject.org, and that was really sloppy, so sorry about all of that. But interesting crypto news. Apparently, Iran has labeled Telegram's coin a threat to national security. And
Iran calls this a threat to national security.
They do. And I would like to point out, because this immediately confused me, this is not the messaging service. And look, even Bitcoin.com fell for it with the Telegram messaging services logo right here in the picture they used for the article. It has nothing to do with Telegram.
Yeah, I got some emails about Telegram Coin a few months ago, and I looked into it really briefly, and it seemed like it was not actually affiliated with Telegram, so I just junked the emails and haven't really thought about it since. So if this is not part of Telegram, who is it? Is this a scam coin or what?
No, in fact, it looks like they ran their ICO pretty openly. They are the Telegram Open Network, whatever that means, made by Graham. They're pretty upfront about the fact that they're not related to Telegram. Like, the first thing in their FAQ here is that it is not related to the Telegram LLC or Telegram Messenger LLP Telegram app.
So why choose that name?
I don't know. But they are now issuing refunds, and they have issued 97.72% of those refunds. And if you got in on this ICO, you should go to ico-telegram.org and get your refund before the 30 days passes. I would recommend go ahead and doing that now. Kudos to them for the openness. And look here.
And issuing the refunds.
Yeah. When I looked into why this ICO, because that's unusual for an ICO to issue refunds, here's TechCrunch also assuming that it's related to the Telegram app, and that this may be the entire source of the problem. Telegram's ICO was supposed to be a record breaker to develop a platform that brings the decentralized internet to life. Instead, it has become a mess, with the tightly controlled fundraising process in disarray as early backers sell their tokens for handsome returns. Well, I don't know what the problem with that is, but okay. Telegram's grand vision, and again, TechCrunch is assuming that it's related to Telegram, the messaging app and service, and it is not, is to build the TON, the Telegram Open Network, a blockchain-based platform that extends its messaging app, which counts 200 million active users, into a range of services that include payments, file storage, censorship-proof browsing, and decentralized apps hosted on the platform. And again, it's not expanding its messaging service because it's totally unrelated to the messaging service. And I would almost bet that this is the source of all their woes.
Has the Islamic Republic of Iran made the same mistake then? Are they calling the Telegram coin a threat to national security? Because I know they already don't like Telegram, the messaging app.
Well, they specifically said the coin is a threat to national security. Authorities in Iran would interpret any cooperation with Telegram on the issuing of their crypto as an action against the national security of the Islamic Republic. That's according to a recent statement by Javad Javidia, Secretary of the country's Criminal Content Definition Task Force. Javad emphasized that instances of providing support will be dealt with as a disruption to the national economy. One of the most important factors in banning Telegram was the sense of a serious economic threat from its activities, which was unfortunately marginalized and neglected due to the fuss in the political atmosphere of the country. Telegram has been developing its Telegram Open Network in order to provide its customers with a digital payment system. All Telegram users will get a Ton wallet, and the platform's developers hope to make Gram the world's most adopted cryptocurrency. So they have certainly made the same mistake.
So yeah, it's sounding like Iran has made the same mistake. They've confused the Telegram coin with a Telegram app.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't blame them. My first thought was an assumption that the Telegram app had held an ICO, but evidently that is not at all the case. The past spring, the operator of the Messenger service, a company founded by famous Russian entrepreneur Pavel Durov.
Yeah, that's the Telegram app.
Yeah, which is a great app, and I would strongly recommend everyone use it. I use Grindr, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, you need to message me on Kik. I'm like, no, you can message me on Telegram, though. I'll do that because it's actually secure and encrypted.
Yeah, not going anywhere near Kik.
No. Or, I mean, you might as well ask me to message you on Facebook Messenger.
God.
He revealed that Telegram had over 200 million active users around the world. The app has become extremely popular in the global crypto community, as well as in jurisdictions with extensive internet censorship regimes. The messenger has been blocked in the People's Republic of China. Authorities in the Russian Federation have been trying to restrict access to the platform for months this year, after Telegram refused to hand over its encryption keys to the Federal Security Service. Good on you, Telegram. We covered that when they did it, and I cannot applaud them more loudly. But again, this article is about the history of the texting app or the messaging app, and it has nothing to do with the ICO.
So these Telegram coin people, whoever they are, have basically chose this name to deliberately confuse people, and now it's backfiring on them.
Yeah, I don't know if it was deliberate or not, or if maybe they just somehow weren't aware of the existence of the messaging app. Which
I don't know how you not be aware. You type if you're picking a name for something, that some new project, the first thing you do is you type that name into Google or whatever other search engine to see if anyone else is using it for something. Because you don't want to get most legitimate projects are not going to want to have that sort of confusion.
Right.
But
it's not good. Confusion is not good.
I ignored those emails specifically because of that confusion.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I didn't get them, but I like to think that's probably what I would have. I would have done exactly what I did. I'm like, oh, Telegram has a new coin?
My email was on the Mt. Gox list that got hacked years ago, and I've been getting crap-ass Bitcoin emails ever since.
I'm sure. Another source told TechCrunch that Telegram is aware of the unofficial sales of their tokens that people were selling after having purchased during the ICO. But they did not violate any laws because ICOs are not regulated. They bolded and italicized that, by the way. There is nothing it can do but watch. The issue with early sales is that the market can influence or even set the price of a token through unofficial deals, which could complicate listing it on exchanges or setting a post-ICO price. This is why most, tokens don't issue the tokens until after the ICO has ended. When I partook in the AirSwap ICO, I didn't actually get my tokens. I did receive them. They were sent to my address, but they were locked.
Right.
Because they were an Ethereum token, and that gave them the ability to do that, apparently, until long after the ICO had ended. And I think that's probably a better way to go about doing this sort of thing than just giving people the coins and watching them go up in value and hoping that they won't sell them. But again, none of this has anything to do with the Telegram messaging app. But stay tuned, there is a lot more crypto news to cover here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone, and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Free Talk Live.
And that's what it really comes down to. I think the internet is becoming more and more conservative. I've been online for 20 years. Really? And everyone's trying to make money now. And when you get money involved, you start having people scared of their own shadows or their own nipples.
A long time ago, whitehouse.com
porn site
was a porn site. There was a website that misspelled Blue's Clues somehow and was a porn site. And yeah, you don't really see those nowadays.
But I don't know. I mean, back in the 20 years ago, you didn't have 2 girls, 1 cup.
You didn't, but if you did, there wasn't that much complaint about it because usually people that were online 20 years ago, you had to have a certain amount of technical sophistication.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting as always from the Horizon.global studio. It is the Crypto Hour, brought to you by motionproject.org. And as I promised before the break, we've actually got some more interesting cryptocurrency stories beyond just Iran and Telegram. Although, again, you should definitely be using Telegram. I'm starting to think I may actually be right about what cryptocurrencies are going to do in the next 9 months or so. Apparently, cryptocurrency exchanges are delisting dozens of struggling cryptocurrencies. They use the phrase altcoin, of course. I'm not a fan of that phrase because I don't think other cryptocurrencies have to be defined by the relationship to Bitcoin. But KuCoin has delisted 10 digital assets, including Bitcoin Gold and Mobius.
Well, Bitcoin Gold was just another one of those, like, somebody forked it just to fork it. And
well, they wanted it to be ASIC resistant.
We see how well that worked out.
Yeah, I don't know if it succeeded or not.
Didn't Bitcoin Gold drop to like 10 cents pretty much?
I hope not.
I don't recall exactly. I know there was Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond. There were several ones that forked off right after Bitcoin Cash last year.
I know Bitcoin Silver did, but it actually wasn't a fork. It was an Ethereum token attempting to capitalize on the relative success of Bitcoin Gold in order to get people to invest in its ICO. It was actually the reason that I began the website cryptocurrencycheck.org, because it was so obviously a scam. It had nothing to do with Bitcoin, and Their ICO, as ICOs do it, had this great big timer at the top letting you know how much time was remaining, how much money they had raised, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched it for a few days, and I noticed that the actual remaining time never went down. Like it would be, there are 3 days and 7 hours left, and then you check again the next day, and it's like there are 3 hours and 9 minutes. And I mean, 3 days and
3 days and
9
7 hours. Yeah, 3 days, 9 hours. So the 3 days part just stayed the same, huh?
Yeah. Well, it may have been 7 days, but it never actually went down. And I think you can check, and their ICO is still ongoing right now, even though it has actually ended. And I pointed this out to people on Twitter, and because they did have a Twitter called Bitcoin Silver One. Their latest tweet was from December 2017, saying network congestion causing delays, doing everything on our end to distribute final tokens. Please be patient. There were no tokens issued to anyone. They took the Ethereum they were given and they ran. And that's been more than a year ago. It was really disgraceful, and it was really obvious that it was a scam, and I hate that anyone fell for it, but plenty of people did. There was also Bitcoin Sapphire, Bitcoin Diamond. I don't think Diamond ever actually happened, though, did it?
Yeah, Bitcoin Diamond did happen. It happened, and then it just kind of faded away.
Well, I remember reading about them on the forum, Bitcoin Talk, I think.
Bitcoin Talk. That's one of the earliest Bitcoin forums. Actually, Satoshi helped start that forum.
Interesting.
Yes.
And what I read, their entire reasoning behind it was that they just wanted to fork it to help people get more money. And I was like, that's not the way this works. You're just going to give people... You can create an Ethereum token and send every Ethereum token, every user, 5 million cryptocurrency tokens.
Yeah, Bitcoin Diamond's still here. It's 90 cents.
That's more than I would have expected.
Up 2%.
But tokens are indicted particularly for low liquidity or when the project is faced with the risk of bankruptcy or liquidation, security breaches, and other issues. The exchange may delist the project if it fails to meet the basic liquidity requirements by the end of the observation period. So they don't really say why they delisted Bitcoin Gold. But my prediction, of course, which will expire on September the 1st, is that a lot of cryptocurrencies are going to vanish. They're going to hit zero or near enough to zero that they become zero for all intents and purposes. And I think even Litecoin may be among those. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I think Bitcoin is going to hit $500 each. I hope it does. But as I've said,
it's going to be a wild ride down if that happens.
Yeah. I don't intend to just sit back and wait and hope that I'm correct. I'm going to keep buying cryptocurrency in the meantime, and I think everybody probably should, but don't be surprised.
So you think it's going to go down, but you also think it's going to come right back up.
It will ultimately.
Maybe not in a year or two, but
well, I don't know. I think once it hits $500, that will cause the normal people out there who are avoiding it to be interested in it again.
To come back in, right.
Yeah, and I think that's what we need, because the last time they were really interested in it was when it was $18,000, $20,000. And the normal people who bought it lost a lot of money.
Right.
And they're not happy with it.
Well, the advice everybody gives is to buy high and sell low. No, wait, that's backward, isn't it? No, buy high and sell low is what everyone actually does.
Yeah.
Buy low and sell high is what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, ideally, people wouldn't sell. They would be, investing in their stake in the new world.
Invest, spend. I mean,
but I will admit that I'm loath to spend my cryptocurrency if I can also spend cash, because I would rather hold on to the cryptocurrency, because the cash I know is going to lose value. The cryptocurrency, more than likely, is going to increase in value, especially given enough time.
Yeah.
Sure, I think in the next 9 months it's going to hit $500 each. But I think in the long run, John McAfee is closer to being correct, and it's going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars each. Probably not $1 million.
So Bitcoin Gold's at $13.09, $13.09.
Ouch. I mean, it was $300 during its peak.
Yeah. Well, everything's down from its peak.
Well, yeah. But
everything's down roughly proportionally to that from its peak. But yeah, 24-hour volume, 1,125 Bitcoin Gold, which is 4 million USD. Is that too small?
I guess so.
They're ranked 25 on CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, I was surprised when they listed. I mean $500, not 5,000. Someone asked in the Discord chat whether I'm at 5,000. It's already below 5,000. It's at 3,700 at this exact moment.
Right.
But I mean, look at it proportionally, and that's not that much more of a loss than what we're already down to. I mean, we're already at what, about 8% of its peak. So
yeah, I mean, we're far off 19,000.
So if we are at another 8% of its peak, it would be about $500 per. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's way down depending on when you purchased it or depending on what metrics you're looking at. If you go far back enough in time, it's way up.
Yeah.
It just depends on which slice of the graph you want to look at.
I was here in 2010 when you needed thousands of them to buy a pizza, so...
Yeah, I was not here for that. But, I heard about the pizza that was bought for 10,000 Bitcoin.
Actually, it was 2 of them.
2 pizzas. Yes. Okay, so they were 5,000 Bitcoin apiece.
That's correct.
But still, kudos to the guy for getting someone to take Bitcoin at that time. I'm sure right now he wishes he had those 10,000 Bitcoin, though.
Possibly.
Well, we'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the Horizon.global studio. However, it is the Crypto Hour, which is brought to you by MotionProject.org. They are essentially the Kickstarter of cryptocurrency, allowing people to use cryptocurrency directly to fund projects that they think should be completed. Now, I've been meaning to say this for the entire show. Give us a call if you want to comment on anything that we've discussed, or if you would like to just bring up something entirely unrelated. We're cool with that. The studio number is 603-283-6160. You can also join us on Discord, which I think it's discord.lrn.fm.
Discord.lrn.fm. We'd love to hear from you that way because the sound quality is just so much better than the phone.
Yeah.
And if you do happen to call the phone, please be aware that that the phone does not accept blocked numbers. So if you block your number, you won't get through.
That's a good defense. We do that at work as well. I mean, if a number comes up as private or blocked or something like that, they pretty obviously have star 67'd it, and it's going to be a prank.
Right.
And we don't want to deal with that. There's no reason to block your number when you call us unless you're going to, attempting to prank us. But we actually screen calls. You're not going to get on the air saying stupid things.
Yeah, and I run the phone line.
Unless you work here.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can sit here and say stupid things all night, and it's fine. But
yeah, but they say, especially our Twitch users who like to call in, they say stupid things on a different level. In good news, as far as cryptocurrency adoption goes, 1 in 7 Chinese people have invested in cryptocurrency.
Amazing. Yeah. What are they investing in?
Well, a survey conducted by PanNews has found that 14% of Chinese citizens have invested in cryptocurrencies. They do not seem to say exactly which cryptocurrencies.
I mean, are there secret cryptocurrencies that they're investing in, or are they doing like ETFs, or does this news whoever wrote this article actually bother to investigate?
I don't know.
Or did they just hear cryptocurrency and throw some words together?
Well, it was probably that, because it's news.bitcoin.com, and if there is anything they need, it's a well-trained editor, which, by the way, I am a well-trained editor and have extensive experience editing and would not have let an article like this come out.
Are you listening, Roger Ver?
The survey found that just 75 respondents had not heard of cryptocurrency out of 4,200. Or blockchain technology, equating to roughly 2% of the survey sample. We have about the same awareness here in the United States, but we don't have nearly a 14% adoption rate. I don't think we've even approached 5%.
Yeah, we're not even maybe 1% if we're really lucky.
And that should give you an idea of what cryptocurrency values, especially the big popular ones like Bitcoin, are ultimately going to do. I mean, this 1% to 5% of the population that is interested in Bitcoin as it stands have generated enough demand to have at least temporarily pushed the value of Bitcoin to $18,000. And I would argue that was inflated. The amount of demand wasn't actually there to back up that price.
The thing about that is that the price went up from like $3,000 to $19,000 in just a couple of months. It
did. It was
took
nuts.
off like a rocket. It was not sustainable. It was not real. It was not going to last.
No. But I mean, even if we look at the $3,700 figure, which is where it's at right now, that's amazing that this small percentage of the population has generated that much demand. So just imagine what will happen if you multiply that demand by 10 by getting 10 times the number of people interested in it and purchasing it.
Yeah, that will definitely drive the price up.
Yeah, that will be what sends Bitcoin to the $30,000 mark to stay there. And what will send it to the $500,000 mark to stay there will be reaching 75 to 80% adoption rates. But, you know, ideological growth follows a really predictable curve.
Mm-hmm.
First, you have the early adopters, the 1% of people who like it and adopt it and tell people about it. The next 5% are still early adopters, less enthusiastic. People like me who were not there for the Bitcoin is worth a penny. I bought 7,500 of them, and now I'm retired. I was not there for that.
Yeah, I missed that completely on accident. But
yeah.
I was mining when it was still possible to solo mine on a CPU, and I mined 150 Bitcoin. And one day I rebooted the computer and forgot to start Bitcoin up again for 6 months.
Ooh.
And just missed the boat. I could have mined thousands of Bitcoins in that time, and just oh well.
I'm doing that with Ravencoin now, sort of. I need a new graphics card because mine is totally burned out. But I am still mining Ravencoin just at a very slow rate, and it's at about a penny right now. And obviously, if you're waiting on these 82,000% increases and things like that, it's probably not going to happen again, but it might.
It might.
Ravencoin could go up, to, I mean, even $1 per coin would just be extremely lucrative for me at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not, it is, and I'm not going to lie and say it's not. It is about making money and securing financial stability. Obviously, how could it not be? It's a currency, right? You want more of it. So I think, so maybe not. Maybe those values aren't actually conflicting as much as I originally thought. Maybe the goal of making money and the goal of having it as a currency are not actually mutually exclusive. But, it would be mutually exclusive to sell it at a high and attempt to, transfer it back into USD or something that has slightly more liquidity in most parts of the world. Of course, here in New Hampshire, I'm primarily holding cryptocurrency right now, and there's very little that I can't buy with it. I think gasoline, cat food, and kitty litter are the only 3 things I cannot buy with crypto.
Mostly holding. I did buy my curry with Dash today, but
Yeah. Well,
no, I didn't, because AnyPay was timing out, and so I had to break out the US dollars and use those.
The war bucks. But as I was saying, I do prefer to get rid of my USD and to keep my cryptocurrency. That's not to say I won't spend my cryptocurrency. Like where I work at, they order dinner every night, and now they ask me if I want anything, and they choose restaurants that they know accept cryptocurrency in the off chance that I want to get something. Because if I'm going to somewhere like Local Burger, I'm going to just go ahead and spend my cryptocurrency. Although I don't like it, I will do it because I think in the larger scheme of things, it will do more for the cryptocurrency that I have to get other people to use it.
What you can do is you can just spend it and then immediately buy it back.
Well, that's more or less what I do. Like every payday, I'm like, hey, or a Bitcoin ATM. On occasion, the rates of those are higher. I no longer use Coinbase. I'm proud to say I still have my Coinbase account, but I no longer actually use it.
I never actually did use Coinbase.
Really?
Really?
It was how I did. I mean, it's the only option in most of the United States. especially for USD to cryptocurrency conversions. If you want to get some amount of cryptocurrency and you have a checking account or debit card or both, then Coinbase is the leading option.
Paying by credit card, debit, whatever. Yeah. Then
but they have failed
stuck
in their duty. The only good thing that they ever did was make cryptocurrency accessible and easily understood to people. And they have totally dropped the ball on that by adding things like the basic attention token and other cryptocurrencies that are not worth people's time and that are just going to confuse the masses of people. And that was always what Coinbase was good for, was that they had 3 cryptocurrencies and that was it.
That was it.
So you couldn't go
confusion.
there. You couldn't go there and end up buying some scam coin. Well, we'll be back with more crypto news here on LRN.FM, so stay tuned.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgoristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgoristHosting.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the Horizon.Global studio here in Keene, New Hampshire. Speaking of wishing it all away, our favorite Pandora's box in the cryptocurrency community, also known as Augur, has made another stupid decision. Well, they didn't make the decision, but something stupid happened because apparently people think that, crowd wisdom is actually a thing and that somehow masses of people are not complete and total bumbling apes. So, coming to us from news.bitcoin.com is the mini headline, Crowd Wisdom Not as Wise as First Predicted.
Surprise! A person is smart. People are stupid.
Now, for those who don't recall, we discussed Augur a few months ago because they were taking bets on the assassination of Donald Trump. And this was not a violation of Augur's terms of service, which caused its own little mini controversy. It was interesting. I have no idea how it resolved because I didn't follow it and I don't particularly care. But there's crowdsourced prediction market has run into fresh controversy, this time over the veracity of one of its wagers. The decentralized marketplace, which launched to great fanfare earlier this year, utilizes so-called crowd power to enable bettors to reach consensus on the likelihood of a prediction coming to pass. Augur has just paid out on a wager that queried how many hurricanes would strike the U.S. last year. The market settled the outcome based on there being 2 hurricanes that made landfall on American soil. But there's just one problem. The correct answer is 3.
Ooh.
While crowd consensus has been shown to be an accurate arbiter, the incorrect resolution of this particular prediction, which should have been set at 3 to accommodate Hurricane Olivia reaching Hawaii, shows that crowds, like the individuals who comprise them, are still fallible. Luckily, there's only 0.62 Ethereum resting on the outcome, so it's not like people have lost a great deal of money. But it's certainly alarming that people could point to something that, is demonstrable and the crowdsourced answer still be wrong. It really points to the need, like you have with motionproject.org, of some arbiter, some group of people who are paid in the cryptocurrency to do this, who examine the veracity of these claims independently to verify that the crowdsourced answer is actually correct.
Fact checkers.
Yeah, because that would have helped here. Because the correct answer is 3, these people have evidently forgotten about Hawaii, which, to be fair, so did I.
How do you forget about a whole state, especially one as nice as Hawaii?
To be clear, I forgot about Hurricane Olivia hitting Hawaii. I didn't forget that Hawaii existed. In fact, this is the first I've heard about Hurricane Olivia. Because it didn't kill a bunch of South Carolinians, I guess, or Texans. Wasn't that this year? Or was that last year?
Something hit South Carolina.
I know South Carolina was hit this year.
I don't know. I'm not part of the crowd, so I'm not tracking hurricanes.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm also not tracking anything on Augur. I did buy some Augur way back in the day when I was first really interested in ERC20 tokens before I realized that Ethereum is a total mess and that the only Ethereum currency worth owning is actually Ethereum Classic. Ethereum will gladly fork their blockchain to undo something that happens on the network. They've done it before. That's why Ethereum Classic exists. At least when it's a major company who wants the money back. When it's ordinary people, like those affected by the Parity hack, you're kind of screwed because the last I've heard, they still have not rolled that back, although they intend to.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's been more than a year now, and
that's not happening.
No. I don't approve of that. I think Ethereum Classic has it right, and that you can change the code afterward, sure. But the code, any transaction that happens on the code as it is valid. The code is law. Because there's no other law to point to in the cryptocurrency space. It's like, well, how do we know this is legitimate? Well, it was allowed by the code. That's how we know.
Anything else is arbitrary.
Yeah, fix your code if you don't want this happening again, but definitely don't change your code and then go, oh, well, these transactions that happened on this different code, they no longer count because we have this new code now. And that's what Ethereum did.
Oh, yeah, you can't. That's rewriting history.
That's exactly what it is. It's retconning the blockchain, and that defeats the entire purpose of blockchain technology. If they can just hard fork it to go back and redo some blocks.
Yeah, how can you even trust anything on Ethereum when they're willing to do something like that?
Exactly. That's why I no longer hold any Ethereum whatsoever. I will gladly hold Ethereum Classic.
I didn't know much about this story. I didn't really follow Ethereum hardly at all. So
no, they had an interesting idea, and I liked the ERC20 token idea when I first heard about it. Then I realized how saturated it was and how it was exacerbating the problem of market oversaturation that we see right now. I mean, just open Coinomi and look at the hundreds of supported cryptocurrencies, or go to any website. I deal in cryptocurrencies every single day. I've never heard of 99% of these. It's classic market oversaturation. And that's one of the reasons I believe we're going to hit this hard crash.
I sure can't follow 2,000 different cryptocurrencies and however many ERC20 tokens there are.
No, definitely not. And I have no interest any longer in following ERC20 tokens or having anything whatsoever to do with them. For one, it's really, really easy to create one. Like, I've created one. It's called Drama Coin.
That sounds like it's worth investing in because drama is everywhere.
Well, yeah, we made it for our Libertarian Drama of the Week segment, where every week we covered some kind of pedantic, idiotic libertarian drama. It hasn't been on the show in a few months because there just isn't anything happening. But we awarded these people Drama Coin. So I made the actual coin to award them. Nobody has yet claimed theirs.
No one's claimed their Drama Coin, huh?
Yes. Josh Smith was going to. He said he was going to, but he never actually gave us his Ethereum address. I mean, it cost me Ethereum to create this token and to pointlessly send it to people as this gesture of, haha, you're an idiot.
Come on, people, come and get your Drama Coin.
Yes. I think we gave him 10,000 Drama Coin.
Come on, it's free money. Who doesn't want free money?
Well, its value is zero.
Well, its value is approximately zero, but it's still free money, right?
It is, and it's totally centralized. I own all of it at the moment, and I will use that power for evil. So come get your Drama Coin. But so yeah, ERC20 tokens. The software Parity allows you to just, with a few clicks, create your own token, and it's not much Ethereum to do. I mean, it's like 0.001 Ethereum, something like that.
That's not much at all.
And you can create as many tokens as you want. You can create 500 billion or just 5. And it costs you the same amount to do. And then you can go, okay, well, I like this cryptocurrency token that I've created. I'm going to create 37 more. And you can do that. It's a total mess. And I don't think it's been a good thing for cryptocurrency, and I don't think it's been a good thing for Ethereum. But nothing has been as bad for Ethereum as their willingness to rewrite the blockchain to appease large companies while telling the little people who got screwed over by the Parity Act, by the Parity hack. We'll get to it when we get to it. That to me is the problem, and that's why I like Ethereum Classic, because that's why they exist. They So we don't agree. We think the code is supreme because it's the only judge we ultimately have, and that's what we're going to go with.
Right.
And they did not fork their blockchain. And they're now supported on Coinbase, who I was ranting about earlier, because they have failed in the one thing they ever did right, which was keeping the ordinary people away from all of these ERC20 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a good service. It is something that needed to be done because there are so many people out there who invest in things like galactose corn syrup or whatever the freak it is, who have no idea what they're talking about and who will just dump $10,000 into something that they don't know anything about. And then we'll lose all that money and we'll go cry to the state about it. And the state will be like, oh no, we got to do something to regulate this when we can prevent it ourselves.
We don't need that.
No, we don't.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.fm. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from Eastern Massachusetts, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, January 1st, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.49 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,283 per ounce. Smart Cash is trading at 1.39 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,763. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. government's monthly report of civilian deaths in their operations in the war against the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria has been released over the weekend, and as usual includes but a tiny fraction of the deaths reported by monitors and other non-government organizations. The new report added 15 deaths to the overall toll, but 12 of those deaths were from a U.S. strike in Mosul in March of 2017. The strike in question was on a munitions factory, and the U.S. strike set off a secondary explosion that killed civilians. The other deaths spanned 2 other smaller incidents. Totally absent from the official report is any record of the deaths of scores of civilians in repeated U.S. airstrikes against 3 towns held by the Islamic State in eastern Syria near the Iraqi border. These strikes have been consistently reported over the past 2 months, but the U.S. has almost never acknowledged such strikes, let alone admitted to any of the large number of civilian deaths. This, of course, has been a recurring problem with the official reporting of civilian deaths, as the U.S. rarely admits to more than a tiny fraction of the overall deaths documented by groups like the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights or Air Wars. Even when the U.S. admits to an incident, they often underreport the death toll.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
UPI reports House Democrats plan to unveil a stopgap spending bill that would fund most of the government for the rest of the fiscal year, but would provide only a fraction of what President Donald Trump wants to pay for a border wall. The bill would fund 6 government departments currently furloughed since the shutdown went into effect on December 21st. Unnamed Democratic aides told the Washington Post the Department of Homeland Security, though, would receive its existing $1.3 billion for border security, short of the $5 billion Trump has requested. Among the shuttered departments to receive funding under the legislation are the Departments of Interior, Agriculture, Commerce, and Justice. Democratic aides told the New York Times and USA Today Democrats plan to vote on the bill when the new session of Congress opens on Thursday, the first day the party takes control of the lower chamber. The Democrats' proposed plan is similar to legislation passed by the Republican-controlled Senate earlier this year. Trump declined to sign the spending bill because it did not include the $5 billion he requested to partially fund a wall. Though the new Democratic-controlled House is expected to pass the planned legislation, it's unclear whether the Republican-controlled Senate has enough votes to send it to Trump's desk, and if it did, whether the president would even sign it.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports U.S. Strategic Command, which oversees the country's nuclear arsenal, apologized for a Twitter message saying it was ready if necessary to drop something much, much bigger than the New Year's Eve ball in New York, and showing a clip of an aircraft releasing bombs. Just an hour before the midnight descent of the illuminated ball in New York's Times Square, marking the arrival of the new year, the tweet said, #Times Square tradition rings in #New Year by dropping the big ball. If ever needed, we are #ready to drop something much, much bigger. The video showed a B-2 bomber dropping bombs, followed by explosions on the ground. One Twitter user using the handle @MaryFShort wrote, "Why is U.S. Strategic Command joking about nuclear war? #shameful." Later on Monday, the message was deleted from the U.S. Strategic Command's Twitter feed. A new message said, "Our previous New Year's Eve tweet was in poor taste and does not reflect our values. We apologize. We are dedicated to the security of America and allies."
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An alarming new study finds that people suffering from stress-related disorders react poorly to being trapped in underwater elevators. A tired 398-month-old throws a tantrum, and a little clay thing is purchased at an arts festival. And now an eerily perfect recap of this week's news. The Catholic Church reversed its long-held stance against gay marriage this week after meeting Connecticut couple Tony and Craig. The vacationing pair dazzled the Pope and assorted clergy with their witty conversation and true loving affection for each other, leading Vatican officials to conclude that love is love and it's silly to put restrictions on it in this day and age. The Chinese people announced that they would be willing to forgive most of the United States' $1.16 trillion debt if Americans agreed to dress up in costumes and perform silly dances for them. Chinese officials encouraged U.S. citizens to wear sequined vests and prance around while slapping their big fat American tummies, promising that the more humiliating the performance, the more debt will be erased. In sports, NASCAR fans are deeply puzzled by a mysterious black family seen attending multiple races.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the Horizon.global studio. And if you thought that we had reached peak stupidity in 2018, boy, do I have news for you. Because 2019 is not starting out any better as far as the banalities and the stupidity actually go. I don't even know where to start as I'm looking through the news to see what happened today. Did we start by the President of the United States telling his haters they need to calm down and enjoy the ride? Or do we start with the U.S. Strategic Command making a joke on Twitter about the Times Square tradition rings in the new year by dropping the big ball? If ever needed, we are #ready to drop something much, much bigger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that actually a joke, though?
I mean, judging by how we drop a bomb every 6 minutes, I think I'm going to say no.
So
it was not a joke.
You know that Congressman Swalwell was threatening to nuke gun owners.
He was, yes. I mean that, and to that, Walter Schwab, I guess would be how his last name is pronounced, retweeted it and saying, "What kind of maniacs are running this country? The kind that have a U.S. Strategic Command." I mean, that's the problem here, that we have this Air Force with all of these bombs. Them joking about using it, they can joke about using them all day long, and I won't even care. It's the fact that we are using them. And if I'm understanding this tweet correctly, they may not have necessarily meant to imply this, but they did suggest that what they meant was dropping something much, much bigger on Times Square, which I wouldn't put past our government here in the next few decades.
Just why would the U.S. You got to ask yourself this question: why would the U.S. military drop any kind of bomb on Times Square?
Well, to deal with protesters.
And
actual protesters.
That should take you to a very, very bad place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason they want a wall on the southern border, into which we could disappear, through which we could disappear into South America and the many countries and the less technologically focused parts of the world that, are in South America. Canada, we wouldn't have that problem. We'd still be tracked and monitored. They would have no problem finding us if we fled en masse to Canada away from a government that was rounding us up and killing us. They would have difficulty finding us in Mexico and Venezuela and Brazil and all of these other and Chile.
Yeah.
And many other places. That's why we're getting the southern wall and not a northern one, even though the terrorists of 9/11 actually came over the Canadian border. But hey, what do I know? That fear line really works on people. If
they all just took flights into the U.S. and they had visas and all that. So,
Yeah. If you'd like to join in on the conversation,
they didn't even overstay their visas.
Yeah, give us a call at 603-283-6160. We're ranting about everything that is wrong, just everything. We spent the first hour ranting about the trans chick who flipped out at GameStop, and now we're moving on to just the stupidity that we're finding. What's the most ridiculous conspiracy theory you ever heard? It's a documented fact that the hijackers from 9/11 came across the Canadian border. They did not come across the southern border. But President Trump ushered in the new year by doing something that has come to mark his presidency. Fair enough. Stupid tweets. He says, in all caps, of course, because it's Donald Trump, "Happy New Year to everyone, including the haters and the fake news media. 2019 will be a fantastic year for those not suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Just calm down and enjoy the ride. Great things are happening for our country." I don't know. Right.
Which country are great things happening in? Because I want to go there.
Yeah, I do too. But I suspect that place is not a country. They're an anarchist society that has no state. He also, later, about an hour and a half later, tweeted just a more subdued Happy New Year.
Was that in all caps?
It was not.
So Slippy Junk wants to know what this whole insane stuff is about dropping a bomb on Times Square.
Well, that's what the U.S. Strategic Command actually literally tweeted.
Literally tweeted today. Yeah.
Yeah. Or yesterday.
Yesterday.
To be clear. Or, yeah, yesterday. They said the Times Square tradition rings in the new year by dropping the big ball. If ever needed, we are ready to drop something much, much bigger.
Why?
That's what they said. I mean,
Why?
that's their tweet. They have since deleted it, but this is the internet, and nothing is ever actually deleted.
Yeah, you screenshot that stuff, it stays around forever. It becomes memes.
I have no doubt that people took plenty. They added "watch to the end" and then tagged a bunch of people. AF Global Strike. I assume that's our military, our Air Force's official thing. The best one is the last hashtag they used. Peace is our profession. Yeah, see, no, I think you might be confused. I don't think you get peace by dropping bombs on people.
Well, sure you do. After everyone's dead, it's quite peaceful.
Yeah, true. But then everyone is dead. I mean, sure, that's technically peace. So, but it's not the right way to do things. Realistically, Trump, amidst the shutdown, wants to make a deal with Nancy Pelosi, and I don't even notice the shutdown in my day-to-day life. I don't know many people who do. Sure, if you're just regularly making visits to national parks, I suppose you probably notice it.
I didn't notice any shutdown. The roads are still full of potholes, and you know.
Well, apparently, when the shutdown happened, all of our roads were supposed to just vanish, right?
Yeah, they were supposed to pack up all the roads and stick them back in their boxes.
Yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed that didn't happen. I'm kind of disappointed that the government has not shut down. I think the entire thing is just theater. I think Obama's theater during the debt ceiling raise was more successful because, I mean, the government went out of its way to make an inconvenience for the ordinary person. Trump is not really trying to do that, though. He's just trying to make the Democrats feel inconvenienced. And I don't know whether or not it's working or not, but I think it's interesting to note the difference in goals. Not that Trump cares anything about us. Don't get me wrong, because he doesn't. But punishing us for the Democrats' unwillingness to give him a wall is not going to help him get his wall.
You know, the thing about the government shutdown is that well, two things. One, someone in the chat is saying maybe they, I don't think they meant to. I heard the parks are getting really dirty, says Tommy.
I mean, there are some issues going on with the parks. I mean, you do have like paraplegic veterans going around in some of them attempting to pick up the trash and things like that, and they've been threatened.
I was reading that in some of the parks, they're just leaving volunteers alone, and the volunteers are cleaning up the trash cans and changing the toilet paper in the restrooms.
Yep.
So volunteers are doing this.
Amazing how that works. That if you don't force people to pay for something, a lot of them will get off of their asses and do it.
I mean, it's not happening everywhere because, like you said, some places they are getting threatened.
Well, I mean, if people wanted the parks, then that's what they would do, right?
Right.
But the paraplegic military veteran had his life threatened by someone over his picking up trash. I presume, it didn't say, but I assume he saw somebody throw something down and was like, hey, you need to pick that up. Because I can't imagine, just threatening the life of somebody who's just walking around picking up trash. That's insane, right?
Yeah, that's insane, but so is the government.
Yeah, but the government didn't threaten him.
Who threatened him then?
Just some random attendee at the park.
Okay, that's a little odd, but...
It is odd. But, I mean, we've seen this time and time again, that if the government stops doing it, people will gladly pick it up themselves.
Yeah, people will pick up the slack.
And I think it's important.
And it usually works better that way.
It does.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Are you a helpless moron perplexed by the world? Wish there was a device that enabled you to consult the Onion Book of Known Knowledge anytime, anywhere? Then you need the Book Bjorn, the amazing new wearable invention that makes you and the Onion Book of Known Knowledge inseparable. Never again be stumped by the panoply of bizarre objects filling your field of vision. Never take it off. Never be without it. All this for just 4 easy payments of $39.93. The Book Bjorn. The Book Bjorn. And if you call now, you'll receive the special page-turning wand. Turn pages with the greatest of ease. The special reading light to wrench knowledge from utter darkness. The book umbrella to protect the Onion Book of Known Knowledge's precious pages from the elements. Book Bjorn. This $800 value can be yours today. Send a check or money order to the Book Bjorn, care of the Zwiebel Center for Knowledge Studies, 15 Zwiebel Way, Macau, China. Do not hesitate. Buy now. The Book Bjorn.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Question authority. Throughout human history, as our species has faced the frightening, terrorizing fact that we do not know who we are or where we're going in this ocean of chaos, it has been the authorities, the political, the religious, the educational authorities who attempted to comfort us by giving us order, rules, regulations, forming in our minds their view of reality. To think for yourself, you must question authority and learn how to put yourself in a state of vulnerable, open-mindedness, chaotic, confused vulnerability to inform yourself. Think for yourself, question authority.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. That was the Timothy Leary quote that I mentioned earlier. It's actually being used in the live version of Third Eye as performed by Tool during their Salival tour. I think it was actually recorded at an Ozfest. Tool is really cool because they don't do the whole intellectual property thing. So you can play them all day long. In other silly news that is going to be as ineffective as Trump tweeting, Washington has banned assault rifles for anyone under the age of 21.
Ha! Like that's going to help.
Right. The new measure, which was approved by voters in November, is being challenged in court by gun rights activists. Coming to us from NBC News, Washington on Tuesday joined a handful of other states that ban anyone under 21 from buying a semi-automatic assault rifle after voters passed a sweeping firearms measure in November that has drawn a court challenge from gun rights advocates. The ballot initiative seeks to curb gun violence by toughening background checks for people buying assault rifles. I mean, what is an assault rifle?
It's a rifle that looks scary.
Okay. I mean, that's really all it is, ultimately, isn't it? But only the age limit portion of the measure goes into effect on January the 1st. The rest becomes law on July the 1st.
Okay.
Kristen Ellingbo, a spokeswoman for the Washington Alliance for Gun Responsibility, said the initiative was one of the most comprehensive gun violence prevention measures to pass in the United States. We've seen that assault rifles are the weapon of choice for mass shootings.
Really?
And when they're used, more people are killed and injured. Well, it's kind of a tautology. You know, for mass shootings, people prefer guns, and guns that shoot rapidly would obviously be preferred. But it's silly to think that this is going to do anything about violent crime, because coming to us from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, from ABC News, 3 stabbed in a New Year's Eve terrorist attack in Manchester, England.
Yep.
A police officer was among 3 people stabbed on New Year's Eve in Manchester in what authorities are considering a terrorist attack. It happened Monday just before 9 p.m. at the city's Victoria train station, which is close to the Manchester Arena. That's where a suicide bomber killed 22 people at an Ariana Grande concert in 2017. That the incident happened so close to the scene of the terrorist attack on 22nd of May 2017 makes it even more dreadful. Nobody was killed, which is good. It's really hard to kill someone with a knife. I mean, it really is, especially if you're just stabbing them. I mean, as far as wounds go, that's pretty survivable.
You've got to know exactly where to put that knife.
Yeah. I mean, there have been many reports of people being stabbed 40, 50 times and surviving.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, stabbing somebody in the guts, in the stomach, is not going to kill them. I don't know what would. I've never given it any thought. But if I was going to go on a stabbing spree, I would probably find out, you know. And it's shocking to me that these people aren't. What I'm ultimately getting at here is that, sure, in the most technical of senses, it was a good thing that this person did not have access to a gun.
Well,
I can't really argue against that. That was one of the school shootings that happened a few years ago. Really irritated me because libertarians, while it was still happening, were on social media talking about how the failure of the gun-free zone had been what caused this. They were like, we got this shooting at the school now, and it's because of gun-free zones. Well, it turned out it wasn't a shooter. It was someone in a vehicle rampaging across the campus, running people over. So, and then when he finally wrecked, he got out with a knife and stabbed a bunch of people. Didn't actually kill anyone. And because they spouted off at the mouth while it was still happening without having any of the actual facts, what they ended up doing was arguing in favor of gun control.
Yeah.
By essentially making the argument that, hey, we think this should have been worse. We think this guy should have had access to a gun.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's just some arguments you don't make. And we had so much of that in 2018, and we're going to have so much more of it going forward because people now have the ability to respond to news as it's actually happening. And the benefit of the old days when you got your news from the newspaper and from the television was that it had already happened.
You could actually take a moment and think about things.
Yes, and you could get the facts. You know, you didn't end up reacting to the word shooter and flying off at the handle about the failures of gun-free zones when actually the shooter didn't.
The shooter wasn't shooting.
Yeah, he was just a psycho with a knife in a car.
Well, you know, we need knife control and we need car control.
You do. And isn't there a program in England for people to turn in knives and things like that?
Yeah, they supposedly banned knives already, and you know, you can't even walk around with a kitchen knife.
That's insane. But I mean, that's England, really. That's the United Kingdom. And that's why we don't need this wall on the southern border. We're looking at the United Kingdom with its total lack of access for its people to access guns.
Oh, but that's not true either. I was just reading this week that firearm crime is on the rise in the UK because there is an increase in the number of firearms being smuggled into the country.
Interesting. It's still a lot harder to do.
Yeah. But there's so many firearms coming in now that what they said is that what used to happen in the UK is that a firearm criminals would rent their firearms out, they'd be used in a crime, and they'd give them back to whoever owned the stolen firearm.
Wow.
Now they're seeing new firearms being used in crimes rather than the same firearms over and over.
That's remarkable. So they would actually rent out.
They would rent out firearms.
Wow.
On the black market.
About that.
Yeah.
I am surprised. That's extremely surprising. And people would actually just commit crimes and then return the guns?
Commit crimes, return the gun.
That's nuts. But that's what's going to happen when you have gun control and you have a small select group of people who control all of the weapons in the country.
Yeah, criminals.
We'll be back here on LRN.FM, so don't go anywhere.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way.
Love as your guide.
And liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Well, I noticed got herself a big brown beaver and shows them off to all her friends. One day you know that beaver tried to leave her, so she caged him up with cyclone fence. Along came Lou with the old baboon, said recognize that smell. Smells like 7 layers. That beaver eats Taco Bell.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting as always from the Horizon.Global studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. As always, if you'd like to give us a call, that number is 603-283-6160. We've gone over a large variety of topics today, and we actually have another one just brought in by Michael. Oh, we have a caller coming in. Oh, we do indeed.
On Discord.
Yeah, I have never taken a call on Discord.
Oh, goodness.
So.
Okay, good question. I haven't either. So, oh, yeah, I think you got it.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I had a couple questions. You said you wanted to hear about the craziest conspiracies. I know you guys didn't believe this one, but it was the Sandy Hook conspiracy where people were saying Alex Jones, Mike Vera, George Knapp, a couple of different people anyways were saying that they're crisis actors and that, Sandy Hook really didn't happen. And I thought that was one of the craziest conspiracies to come out because, they had like the mothers and children, the mothers of the children and the dads of the children, and like they took all the bodies and everything. And so, I mean, it would be pretty hard to fake all that, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, we got bodies of 6-year-old kids there, and you're saying it's fake? Come on.
Well, I mean, as we were discussing last night, in the modern world, it wouldn't be that hard to fake the entire thing, by faking the video and all of that. I don't think that's what happened. I think that there are a lot of people who refuse to accept that human beings can really be that despicable. And so the whole "it didn't actually happen" thing is sort of a defense mechanism against that. I think others believe otherwise, and that humans are actually even worse than that. And so they envision this elite group of psychopaths who orchestrate and fake events like this in order to push one agenda or the other. And, there's certainly some merits to that. The government has done some pretty horrific things throughout all of human history and throughout, the history of the United States. But they did the same thing over the Orlando shooting at the LGBT club, and I knew people who were there, and it most certainly happened. They did the same thing about the shooter in Las Vegas. There were conspiracies going around there about there were multiple shooters, and I have friends in Las Vegas who were on the Strip at the time that it happened, and nobody ever said anything about a second shooter. But that won't stop people who weren't there from getting on the internet and making sure everyone knew that they weren't there.
and Adam Lanza actually stole the gun that he had because he killed his mom and then stole her AR-15 and just used that. I mean, so
this is the Sandy Hook gun.
Yeah, that's it. He just stole a gun from that after he killed his mom. And so, I mean, you know, people can get a gun if they really want to. So, I mean, I just don't see what all these gun laws are going to really do.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's just like, you know, prohibiting anything else. It doesn't actually work. And it assures that not only is it unsafe and done in the darkest corners of society, away from the watchful eyes of the state and away from the watchful eyes of society, it's going to have the opposite effect. Like, despite nearly a century of marijuana outlawing, we now know that it's not that big a deal. And it's now being legalized across the country. There was alcoholic prohibition, which did nothing to get rid of alcohol. There's prohibitions on sex work. We still have plenty of sex workers here in the United States.
Yeah, it's almost like government never learns their lesson.
No, they certainly don't. And it's not just government, it's the people who are, you know, supportive of these government actions. General. They see something they don't like and they think, well, the government should outlaw it and that will make it go away, but it doesn't. That's why the pro-choice versus pro-life argument is equally stupid. It's like, it doesn't really matter if we outlaw it. Abortions are here and they're going to happen. Whether they're being done in a back alley or in a doctor's office is all that the regulations and the prohibitions are going to determine.
Pretty much.
Hell yeah, I'm smoking a bowl now. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right, thanks for the call. I wish we got more callers, to be honest. We don't get very many because we don't advertise it nearly to the extent that Free Talk Live does. But if you'd like to give us a call about anything we've discussed or about something we have not discussed, give us a call on our studio line at 603-283-6160 or join us on Discord at discord.lrn.fm, where we have 4 call-in lines available, and assuming you have a good microphone, we get pretty good sound quality.
Yep.
But on to the story that was actually just brought in.
Yeah, I just ran across this over the break.
Yeah.
There is another women's march that has been canceled, this time in New Orleans. The Daily Wire, Will Coley actually posted this on Facebook, and I just ran across it. So he couldn't be here, so I'll read it for him. From the Daily Wire, Emily Zanotti reporting, organizers of the New Orleans Women's March say their January event is now off after a, quote, drastic drop-off in support, the Washington Times reported. Quote, due to several issues, we have decided it is necessary to cancel the 2019 Women's March in New Orleans, the National Organization for Women's Baton Rouge chapter posted on social media on Friday. Though they did not initially specify the issues that led to now canceling the New Orleans Women's March, one of the largest in the country, a further statement indicated a severe drop-off in both participation and fundraising after 2 major exposés in Tablet and in the New York Times revealed that the National Women's March's hierarchy was a hotbed of anti-Semitic thought. Wow. Yeah, like eyebrow-raising. Yeah. Now Baton Rouge was clear it believes the National Women's March leadership, including organizers Bob Bland, Tamika Mallory, Linda Sarsour, and Carmen Perez, should resign. Quote, many of the sister marches have asked the leaders of Women's March, Inc. to resign, but as of today they have yet to do so, unquote. Now Baton Rouge's statement read. Quote, the controversy is dampening efforts of sister marches to fundraise, enlist involvement, find sponsors, and attendee numbers have drastically declined this year. New Orleans is no exception, end quote. Now Baton Rouge added that while they will be moving away from the annual marches, they will continue to work on behalf of the, quote, resistance in Louisiana.
Naturally.
Yeah, resistance. What do they mean by that?
They mean the same thing that Tiffany Chick meant by resistance. Making a scene, making a fuss.
You mean losing your mind? I mean...
Well, I mean, didn't they do that already with the whole vagina hats thing?
I missed the whole vagina hats thing, I think.
Well, they also just recently canceled another women's march for being too white.
Yes, I did hear about that one.
That may or may not be fake news. I don't know. I've just seen the headlines. I didn't look into it because I don't particularly care. At this point, nothing would surprise me. You know, it really wouldn't. They canceled the women's march for having too many cis women. Would not be surprised. They canceled it for having too many trans women. Also would not be surprised. They canceled it for anti-Semitism. Not surprised.
Yeah. They find any reason to cancel it. So
I mean, we have President Donald Trump and a U.S. Air Force tweeting out about dropping bombs
on Times Square.
So it's really hard to be surprised by anything at this point.
I just have gotten the feeling that the U.S. has kind of just completely gone off the rails.
I would agree. I would definitely expand it to most of the Western world. We totally lost our minds, though, for sure. I mean, we have people who are legitimately acting like, you know, being called sir at a GameStop is just the equivalent of the people who were there at Stonewall. And the things are just drastically different. But telling them that lands on deaf ears.
Okay, you got called the wrong pronoun. Okay, it happens.
It does. It does. And you know, you would expect a trans person to be able to deal with that in a healthy way. But we'll be back here in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Catch the Call to Freedom at its new time, weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. The Call to Freedom is the only live drive-home call-in show in the U.S. with a segment devoted to cryptocurrencies. Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, live from Vertcoin Studios in New Hampshire. Learn about what makes cryptocurrencies so great and why you should care about them. Updates on new coins and ICOs, and warnings of scams. Plus, hear from traders, whales, developers, and big names in the crypto world. You can also win crypto coins or tokens every episode. Just listen for the faucet sound and be the 5th caller to get free Dash, Litecoin, Vertcoin, Verge, or other cryptocurrencies. The Call to Freedom with Will and Aria, featuring Crypto Hour. Broadcast internationally through our BitPlus network satellite. Weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. on LRN FM.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America. as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Let's focus our discussion first on marijuana, okay? Marijuana has a very distinct smell, okay? I'm going to pass around just a little tiny bit, and I want you all to take a smell so you know when someone is smoking marijuana near you.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It is time for the cannabis news, although there actually is not any that's really worth talking about. Legalization could happen in New York and things like that. You know, a lot of speculation, which is I guess good. But the best we were able to find was really a combination of the most important studies regarding cannabis of 2018, which is good in case you missed them the first time around.
I probably did.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration made moves to dramatically increase the amount of cannabis legally grown for research purposes in the U.S. Not coincidentally, a few months later, the National Security for Complementary and Integrative Health, good Lord, announced a large-scale federally funded study of terpenes and minor cannabinoids, a category which includes compounds in the cannabis plant that might be medical beyond THC.
So are we talking about that ditchweed they grow at the University of Mississippi?
I don't know. I mean, they've been growing cannabis at the University of Mississippi since I was a little kid, though. Or at least that was always the rumor.
For the longest time, that was all you could use for medical research if they allowed you to.
Was what came out of the Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I had always heard that they were growing pot there, but I never actually saw it. But it's good to have that confirmed by somebody who's not a teenager in Mississippi. By all accounts, those 65 and over are the fastest growing demographic of pot smokers, but seniors still remain the largest voting bloc against legalization.
That's a little strange.
Yeah, it is. Often finding out that other seniors benefit from cannabis is the key to changing their opinions. So if you've got a grandparent who's on the fence, hearing about a study published in February 2018 in the European Journal of Internal Medicine could give them the nudge they need to consider trying cannabis, or to at least agree it should be legal for others. In the study, over 900 elderly Israeli patients, 75% of whom had no prior history with cannabis, used medical cannabis for at least 6 months, with 93% of patients reporting that cannabis improved their symptoms, particularly chronic pain sufferers who on average reported that cannabis reduced pain from an 8 to a 4.
That's a significant, I mean, that's going from hardly being able to get out of bed to like that meme I saw on Facebook the other day, being able to bake cookies for your grandkids again.
Yep. Those opposed to cannabis still fall back on the long discredited gateway theory to argue that legalization will lead users down a slippery slope to more dangerous drugs. While those in favor of legalization point to a plethora of data indicating just the opposite, like a November 2018 study that showed cannabis dispensaries significantly reduce the number of opioid overdoses in their immediate vicinity. What's less often understood, however, is that cannabis can be combined with prescribed opioids to create a synergistic effect. A February 2018 study published in Nope showed that in a double-blind, placebo-controlled study, cannabinoids combined with opioids produced synergistic They work good together.
They
basically.
work well together.
I'm no fan of opiates, but I guess ideally this would allow you to take fewer of them.
If you combine them, then maybe you can use fewer of the opiates and not get addicted.
Right, which would be great. CBD has profound antidepressant effects in rodents. It's gone from being obscure to trendy in just a few years. Now, according to a study published in Molecular Neurobiology, we may soon add antidepressant to the list of treatments used by cannabis. I didn't phrase that properly because I'm improvising to skip over huge blocks of unrelated text. Researchers in Brazil working with rodents noted that CBD reduced depression-associated behaviors after a single dose, improvement that lasted a full week after the treatment. That's effective, and that's great, but it is not as effective as psilocybin cubensis is at treating depression. And I think that our focus when it comes to these sorts of mental, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say the word mental illnesses, but I have no choice, should be focused more on psychedelics than marijuana. And it still concerns me how, cannabis seems to be becoming this sort of snake oil of, oh, it's good for pain, it's good for cancer, it's good for chemotherapy, it enhances your sex life, it'll cure your depression. What?
Maybe it is good for all that. We don't know. We'll find out when the science is able to study it more.
I guess that's true. Just call me extremely skeptical of all of these claims. A lot of which could probably be explained away with the placebo effect, but who knows?
Well, if you got a double-blind placebo-controlled study, then you'll get somewhere with that.
You will, yeah. And I would have to assume that most of these studies are that way, but that's an assumption. I have not looked into the actual studies. I'm just going off of Leafly's summary of them. 3 new studies published in 2018 have greatly expanded our knowledge about cannabis and sex since 2010. And they all point to cannabis enhancing sexual pleasure and increasing sexual frequency. The first 2 studies, conducted by researchers at St. Louis University in Missouri, surveyed hundreds of women and found that among those who had used cannabis immediately prior to sex, 3% called it sex-ending, 65% called it enhancing, 23% said it made no difference, and 9% expressed no opinion. We actually went over one of these studies right when it was released because they really took that whole 1920s take on it, which was that, it's going to make your women lust after the big black penises.
Right.
And they didn't explicitly state that, but they came so close to it that they took the study saying it enhanced sex drive and things like that, and they just totally inverted it into that sort of 1920s anti-cannabis propaganda. CBD may help treat methamphetamine addiction. That would be great. Researchers at the University of Sydney and somewhere else in Australia in September 2018 published a study that found CBD in doses of 80 milligrams, blah, 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 no one cares. It was effective at lowering the self-administration of methamphetamine and relapse to methamphetamine-seeking behavior following withdrawals by rats. All good things, Yeah. I definitely would agree that...
So instead of being a gateway drug, cannabis actually helps you get off of other drugs.
That's great news. I hope that it ultimately turns out to be the case. Of course, to be fair, we did think the same thing about cocaine. Sigmund Freud actually thought that cocaine would be a suitable treatment for heroin dependency. And he gave it to one of his friends who was dying from morphine withdrawals, and the friend still died slowly with a new addiction to cocaine. So it wouldn't be the first time that we completely misinterpreted what we were seeing. I think the relief of pain is probably the most overblown because I'm just too skeptical of it. No matter how many people say it, I have such a hard time accepting that cannabis actually does anything to mitigate pain.
I don't know. I
don't either. I know people say it's true, and I know there are studies demonstrating it, but to me, it just is such a far-fetched claim. I've smoked a lot of pot, and I've never noticed any sort of anesthetic effect.
Well, do you have chronic pain, though?
I used to get migraines. I no longer do, but I did extensively, and smoking pot did not help.
Did not help with the migraines.
But nothing helped with the migraines, to be fair. No amount of opiates helped either, which is partially how I got on opiates in the first place. But I would love nothing more than for most of these studies to be legit and for cannabis to be capable of the things that it's capable of. But it worries me. And I realize that it's the tinfoil hat speaking. I don't even know if I could elaborate what I'm trying to get at, because it requires so much more forethought than I'm able to do when spouting live on radio. But there's something odd to me about this miracle drug being presented to us. I mean, to me, it's responsible for treating one too many things for my comfort. It sounds too much like snake oil to me, and that bothers me. I don't know whether or not that's the case, and I'm not weighing in one way or the other. I'm just saying that it bothers me. Well, this has been another episode of The Call to Freedom, brought to you by Horizon.Global, in the Horizon.Global studio, rather. It's brought to you by a variety of people and programs who I've mentioned throughout the episode. But don't go anywhere. Stick around, because Free Talk Live is coming up next.